Let go. Right, this is where I can do my Bruce Buffer introduction, right? Pretending I have a microphone. It's like, we are live. I've
Brilliant.
always wanted to do that. So yeah, we're live for the first time.
Good stuff.
Oh
Spurs and
yeah,
Arsenal fan. Oh,
Spurs and Arsenal fan. This could be controversial. This could end in blows. This could end in me losing a friend, possibly.
yeah. But he's kind of lucky we're in different houses, you know.
Yeah. Hey, look,
Yeah.
if anything positive about lockdown, I suppose this whole learning how to use the technology and the web chats and all this, because let's be fair, like, we're not young lads anymore.
No,
It doesn't come
no.
as easy these days. So look,
Long
I
time since fucking Bebo, isn't it? Do you remember Bebo? That was the first
yeah,
we.
a long time since I was a Bebo stunner. Although look, I'm still trying. I'm still trying. Like, see the eyebrow going on here now. I'm gonna claim that, I tried to do that to be cool. I'll get into it another time. Completely scalped myself accidentally, but sure, look, that's for another conversation. But yeah,
Happens, you
look,
know.
man, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't
Mm.
seen you in person. So how was the Christmas?
I was good, yeah. I went down to Mayo to console my parents about the All Ireland, you know. So,
Yeah,
um,
the All Ireland. Oh, the All Ireland. That's all I have nowadays, really. In fairness, you've got
I,
the Spurs, the Arsenal, the All Ireland.
yeah, like it was just like it was there for the take, and I didn't do it again. Always the
Yeah,
bridesmaid, never the bride. It's never going to change, I don't think, you know.
yeah. Hey, look, the Spurs though. The
Spurs doing
Spurs,
okay. Yeah,
the
they're doing
Spurs
okay.
looking good. Spurs looking good. So, did you get up to much when you went back home?
No, watched a few games, drank, ate, couldn't do much more really. Up to my sister's house. It was great to see them. Didn't see my family in 10 months, so it was great to go down. It was great to get back to Athlone again. I love Athlone, you know. So
That's it. That's it.
yeah,
Switch off from the football for a little bit,
yeah,
as
yeah.
much as we can. So
And
yeah, look.
what did you
Uh,
Christmas in the house? Did you?
yeah, well, like we've only just kind of gone into lockdown now, so the Christmas it was nice. It was quiet, kept it pretty low key. Same at New Year's. Like I'm having
Yeah.
a drink now. This is basically my New Year's drink right now.
Oh wow.
Um, oh man, I was in bed half nine, half nine that night. I,
Right.
just, I can't hack the set. I can't use the technology anymore. I can't stay up late. Like I'm officially old now.
And you're
Like
only 45, like, you know.
I
Jesus.
well, I look okay for 64, don't I? I'm telling you, man. Being an Arsenal fan, like legit, put years on you. Actually, will put years on you. Like
Just listen, being a Spurs fan, we haven't won a trophy in over a decade. Like, you know, at least you won the FA Cup.
it actually,
But we
I
won
did.
the Audi Cup. That was a big achievement. The Audi one.
Well, it is prestigious. It is. Do you know what's funny though, right? That was played over in Asia, wasn't it?
Major, yeah, yeah.
They probably got a bigger payoff, for the appearance over there and winning that cup than they probably would have got for winning the FA Cup.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, and we're
Probably.
aiming next year to win the Toyota Cup next year. That'd be super achievement.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
steady on now. Come on now, relax.
Pulling the dreams back.
So I guess, look, we to start off, this is going to look a bit mad. An Arsenal fan and a Spurs fan having the chats, having the bants. Like, people are probably sitting there, what is happening here?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe. Do you want to tell the story? We get a little breakdown of how we got chatting.
Yeah, basically, we live on the same street, and we always said hello. And next thing, we met one day with an Arsenal Spurs jersey, and it was kind of like, what the hell is going on? But
Yeah,
we got talking, for instance, and to be fair now, I don't absolutely hate Arsenal. I hate them, but I don't hate them with a vengeance. And I think you're the same with Spurs. We have friendly banter,
hmm
and it's all good, you know. And you also support Dublin, I support Mayo, so it's kind of crazy, you know.
yeah.
We
Do
get
you
on
know what?
well.
If anything, though, it is actually kind of cool. Like having a good friend that is a fan of like your biggest rival. It adds to the banter
Yeah,
and all that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
it is actually pretty cool. But yeah, it does become a bit more difficult to really, really hate the other team when you know a good friend of yours is a fan, is passionate about it as well. So yeah, there
yeah.
is that.
It's work for you at the moment though, because you know you're not doing great. So I have the opportunity to slag you at the moment, but
Yeah, do you know what? This is new territory for me.
yeah,
I know we've been on the decline for a while now, but yeah, you really know you're on the decline when Spurs are on the rise above us.
yeah, yeah. I think it's happened the last few years though, really, you know. But
It's been coming. It has,
but,
to be fair.
but on the flip side of it, Spurs were in Arsenal's shadow for absolute years.
Yeah.
So finally, we're out the shadow, you know.
Well, that's it. Look, that's the funny thing as well. And a lot of people are saying, I think it was 22 years we finished above, and people are
Yeah,
still. I've done it
ridiculous. Yeah,
myself. People saying, "Hey, look, it's been 22 years," But at the end of the day, we're living in the here and now. It's what happens
yeah,
this season is what
yeah,
counts. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You can throw all the history out there. You can say, "Yeah, well, we finished above you for 22 years. You've done it for what 2, 3 seasons now, or whatever it is."
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's the here and now is what matters really. You forget about the previous 20 odd years. This is what's important. What's happening now. But look, Spurs are flying, man. Played again
Yeah,
today. Another big win.
another big win. Like today was massive, but right, delighted to get the win. Matt Doherty had an absolute shocker. The worst game. Like he's had a few bad games. Serge Aurier has come into the team ahead of him, but Aurier gives away a penalty in every game. But Matt Doherty was a disaster today. Then got a red card. In Wolves he played in the back three. It's the back four in Spurs. He's pushed out a bit further, and he can't handle it. And I was screaming at the television all day watching him. He was fucking useless.
I've been
Um,
surprised by Doherty because he
I
was a serious player at Wolves, and it wasn't big money you pay for him.
yeah, his first few games were brilliant. Since he got the COVID-19, and he was out for 2 weeks. Since he's come back, he's not playing well. Whether it's affected his lungs or something, I don't know. But he's one of our worst players now. But we needed the 3-0 win today. But it's interesting that Mourinho blamed the players for the last few games. He said he told them to come out and attack and not be defensive. So he never blames himself. He's the special one. He's perfect. He threw the players under the bus. But listen, he got the job done today, and so did the players. So I'm happy out.
Yeah, well, look, you can't argue with 3-0, and I'm sure a happy Instagram post from Mourinho later on tonight.
Leeds played well though. Leeds attacked well. So I won't say we were lucky, but finally it was a flowing game and we played well.
Yeah, well, one of the lads, when I was on Fan Circle the other night, he was asking for predictions and that. And I did say I thought that Spurs would have enough about them to get a result against Leeds. And it's more so that, Leeds, we know, are so good attacking, but they're a bit sloppy in defence. They just because their attack is so good, they give away a bit too much defensively.
Yeah.
And Spurs are solid. They're solid in all departments. You know what I mean? They will score goals, and they're very hard to score against. So I think there was always going to be goals for Spurs today. But I'm surprised Leeds didn't get anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a big thing to keep a clean sheet against Leeds.
Yeah, because you're 100% right. Because about Leeds' defense, they gave away 6 or 7 balls today for us to counter attack, sloppy passing. And Spurs' defense has only been good since Ledley King became the defensive coach. Before that, we were useless. Now we're one of the best in the Premier League because Ledley King is an absolute Spurs legend, one of my favorite all-time players. I absolutely love him. He is what Thierry Henry is to Arsenal. He's a fucking legend.
He's what Sol Campbell is to Arsenal.
No, don't mention that.
Sorry. I had to go there. Yeah, no, but like Ledley King, do you know what? I'd say he could probably still play.
Yeah. If you got knee replacement,
yeah. They bring him out on the Zimmer frame, and he'd be grand. Like, but he was an unfortunate player though. He looked a serious player, plagued by injuries.
Yeah, I have a sneaking feeling now. It's a controversial one. Ozil is on a free transfer, isn't he? Now, I reckon Spurs could win for him.
Oh.
I just have a sneaky feeling with Mourinho. He's dirty like that.
Well, do you know what? Mourinho does like him. He worked well under Mourinho.
Yeah.
Mourinho knew how to get the best out of him.
Yeah.
See, I think the problem was with Ozil, right? He came to Arsenal and he had Daddy Wenger, and Wenger was taking care of him, was giving him the days off that he wanted. He had this mystery back injury. Every time he needed time off, he got the time off. And I know there was talk around the club. People obviously weren't happy because they were saying he's getting special treatment and that. And he was, definitely. And even see with the big contract he got, he was never getting that with any other coach there.
No.
But Wenger's gone now, and you can see he's not having it his own way. So, we've had Emery there, we had Freddie Youngberg there for a little while, we've Arteta now. Everybody seems to kind of go down the same route where it's like, when a coach takes over, you kind of go, controversial decision. He's going to come into a struggling team. He's going to drop the captain or the best player or whatever it is, just to make a statement, stamp a bit of authority. But they've all seemed to kind of target Ozil, and it does after a while leave you kind of going, there's something up with this guy, something not right. And you could see the approach that Mourinho had as opposed to the approach that Wenger had. And Mourinho got serious results out of Ozil, whereas Wenger it was mixed. It was average at best.
Yeah.
So, I think if anyone's going to get something out of him, it's easy for me to sit here now and go, yeah, I'm happy to see the back of him. Yeah, let him go to Spurs. That'd be ideal. But that's the thing. He could well go there and could rediscover the form and, have the coach that's probably going to bring the best out of him again. So, that could be worrying.
It's like Dele Alli. What's going to happen there is talk of him going to PSG to join Pochettino now.
Yeah.
And if he does that, okay, I think his attitude absolutely stinks. It has done for the last 2 or 3 years, and he's just a spoiled brat. He's like Lingard with the fashion. He's a poster boy. That's what he wants to be. His spark is gone. So if he wants to go to PSG, let him off.
Yeah, you got to be careful with players like that.
Yeah.
I remember United was it Memphis Depay?
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember seeing some of the pictures of that lad showing up training with the hats and stuff. But look at him now. He's knuckled down. He's found form, and he's actually being linked with Arsenal as well. But they're talking about apparently 5 million.
Yeah.
So it's one of those you go, 5 million, but has he changed his ways? Is he worth a punt?
Yeah, if you even see Pogba now, he's kind of a poster boy, but he's starting to play again.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? It's funny because Pogba looked like he had one foot out the door.
Yeah.
But, since the agent came out and said, "Look, he's basically done here." Since that, he's actually probably playing better than he has all season.
Yeah, I think players go through these cycles where they're they get distracted, they get carried away, they get bored of football. Then they come around and they're bored of their lifestyles to get into the football again. I think it's all a bit of a swings and roundabouts kind of job.
Exactly, that's it, man. But look, sometimes these guys, like you said, Ozil and Mourinho, sometimes they need a certain kind of coach that's going to pull them up on these things and just not let them away with murder.
Yeah, 100%. So do you think
we've got someone in the chat? We got that's a good friend of mine, Robin. So what's up, Robin? Thanks for coming on and checking us out. Hope you're doing good. So Robin's an Arsenal fan, so I'm sure he's delighted to see me here chatting to a Spurs fan. He's probably sitting here thinking, what is going on here? What is happening? He's like, no, I haven't crossed over to the dark side, not just yet. I'm actually what I'm doing is I'm on here, I'm trying to flog off a few of the players. Pat's gonna send an email over to Mourinho later, gonna say, hey, yeah, Mustafi's available, Ozil's available, Anthony said it's cool, you can have them. Yeah, but oh man, it's It's painful. I'm not gonna lie. It's painful to see Spurs at the moment. Like Spurs are flying high, and we're you know the story. But like
Like, yeah, Spurs now,
realistically,
we're in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup against
yeah,
Brentford. But I don't underestimate Brentford. They are a good attacking team. And then
seriously,
when the FA Cup, then we're against the Minnows. What's the names again? They're down. It's a really small team.
yeah,
What's the name?
they're are they a non-league side?
Non-league side, yeah.
I think they're a non-league side based in around Liverpool or something. I
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
seen a good picture. One of the lads, I think it was their goalkeeper. They
Oh,
went
he
through,
had a drink, yeah. Yeah.
and he went to Tesco or something. And he had the big
Yeah.
bags full of drink as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. We're still in the FA Cup, Europa League, we're well in there, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can finally win a trophy, you know?
What do you think, realistically? I know. In fairness, right? You said this early, the beginning of the season. You
Yeah.
said that you fancy the way Mourinho has the team going now, with some of the additions he's brought in, his style of play. You did say you fancy Spurs to be in the mix for the end of the season. Do you still think that?
Uh Not as much as I did. We're
Mm.
kind of relying on other teams tripping up. That's the thing. And that's not going to win your league. You have to play well. Like Liverpool is stuttering, Leicester,
Mhm.
Everton. That's the only reason we're climbing the table. We're relying on other people, other teams getting losses and losing points. It's not a good way to go. Can we win the league? It'll be a big push. I'm not sure, to be honest. Um, 70-30 against. Only being
Really?
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I know like Spurs started really well, and I'll be honest, I was concerned. I was concerned. Especially early days, Liverpool lost Van Dijk and that, and I thought to myself, like that's going to be massive, like that is going to be huge. But like in fairness, they did push through. They're a little bit stop start. They're looking a little bit like the Liverpool of old, where they
Yeah.
show up
Yeah.
against the big sides, and
Yeah.
then drawn against what, Southampton, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Like these are sides that last season they probably would have got a result against. A couple of seasons ago, you would have expected that out of Liverpool. So I don't know. Maybe they might find their feet again. That would be my concern if my side was anywhere in contention. It's how Liverpool are going to do second half of the season. And even when you look at the table, like, Chelsea and City, they're not a million miles off. I think City have two
No.
games in hand.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a, it's a, it's a crazy, crazy table. Really
And the big
crazy.
thing is, look at Man United. They are the jammiest team ever, but they're up there. You know.
Yeah, I haven't even mentioned them yet. I
The big thing
was
is,
purposely leaving them out.
the crazy thing is if you see like Arsenal's dip of form and Man United dip of form, like Ollie was near the sack, and then bang, he's put this run together. So can Arteta do that now? It's possible.
Yeah, hey, look, it just goes to show. Southampton had it as well, with the manager Hassan Huddle. I think, didn't he go? I think he went for four games. He lost, and people were calling for his head. But
Yeah.
at one point, Southampton were at the top. Like Southampton are exceeding expectations this season, and that was a guy who was close to being sacked. But there's one there for you. Mourinho worked wonders with Alexis Sanchez. Well, look, if Ozil goes to Spurs and Mourinho works the same kind of magic with Ozil at Spurs that he did with Sanchez at United, I'll be a happy man.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy. Funny enough, I can't see it because it'd be one of those where, Ozil to me over the last couple of years, he just, I just don't feel any motivation or passion out of him to actually play football. So it'd be just typical. It'd be one of those. He'd go to our biggest rivals and suddenly he'd turn it on again, and he'd be world class.
Yeah, I can't really see him coming though. Like he wouldn't do that to the Arsenal fans, I don't think.
It's hard to know. It is hard to know. He talks a good game. He talks about being loyal, about being passionate for the club and that. But at the same time, my argument is, you say you care about the club and you're loyal, you're passionate. Okay, you're loyal, you're seeing out your contract, but are you seeing it out because it's 350 grand a week? That's what it's worth to you.
Yeah.
Like if you were that passionate about the club, obviously you want to see them move on and get back to where they were. And if deep down you're not going to be a part of that, maybe it's easier to free up the funds, move on, go elsewhere, stop all this media talk about, bring them back, stop all the divide between the fans. We should be playing, shouldn't be playing. Personally, if it was me, I'd be saying, yeah, look, 31 years of age, there's still a bit of football left in me. He's made his money. He's made a fortune over the last few years. So it's not even like he's going, right, well, I'm chasing my last big contract. He could go play for free for the rest of his career, and he's going to be doing fine. So
a question for you. I know you've always stuck by Arteta. To be fair to you, you've always had his back. Is he the man?
It is a hard one. It is. I'd like to think he is. Like he's likable. He looks the part. He talks the part. I think he has the right ideas. He's had a good sort of, you can call it, upbringing, I guess. He's worked under Pep Guardiola. He's worked with some serious players. I'm sure City had him, well set up in the best way possible to go into a career in management. They're supposed to be well known for it. Taking coaches in, they're meant to have a really good setup. The problem is the club he's taken over. It's a tough job to say the least. It really is. Like, aside from the problems on the pitch, there's a lot of problems behind the scenes, backroom problems. It's a tough fan base. It is. Like, I'm telling you, I know firsthand. It's a thankless fan base. Like, literally, you're only as good as your last result.
Yeah.
With some of the best fans in the world, but then there is a group, the AFTV sort of fan base, I call them. Whereas, like,
Spurs' favorite channel.
Yeah, everyone's favorite channel apart from Arsenal fans. But literally, like, you could win 3-4 games on the bounce and then suffer a 3-0 defeat, and then people are calling for your head, that kind of thing. So it's a tough fan base. It's a tough group. Is he the man for the job? I think he has the right ideas. He has the right mindset. Again, I would have liked a guy to come in having had a bit of previous management experience. Like, I don't like the idea of a guy, taking over, in my eyes, a big club. I know you probably won't agree, but coming into taking a Premier League manager's job, a team that has expectation. Like I said, it's a tough enough fan base. It's a lot for a first-time manager to come in and take on. I definitely would have preferred if he'd gone and cut his teeth elsewhere, maybe done a bit of management before. Even if they'd taken him on maybe as the number 2 for a while. I'd like to say yes long term. Results are going to determine. I'm hoping he gets the backing. If he gets the backing from the board as well, that'll play a big part, because if they're going to sit around in January and tell him, look, there's no funds available, and he can't clear out, some of that squad that he has, then, like, obviously the results are not going to go the way we want, and the end result is we're not going to be, challenging for anything. We're not even going to qualify for Europe. So I think a lot of it comes down to, do the board feel he's the right man? If the board feel he's the right man, then show him that you feel he's the right man and give him the backing, give him the funds and help him, help him out, because he needs help. He's doing it for the very, very first time. And like I said, there's a lot of obstacles in the way in this kind of a job. As an Arsenal manager, there's a hell of a lot of obstacles.
Yeah, well, you're saying there about Arsenal fans being fickle. So Spurs fans was bad. I'm on a Spurs group chat. and sometimes I just turn notifications off because it's so negative. People were calling for Mourinho's head a few days ago. Now he's the king again because he got a good result. Like I was listening. We're still in 4 competitions, and they're calling for his head. Like, I hate that shite. Do you know what I mean? Get behind
Yeah,
your manager.
that's it,
To be fair,
100%.
Anthony, you've always been behind Arteta, and I've always asked this question. You stood by him. And I
Yeah,
think you could go on a run now. Especially that Chelsea result was absolutely awesome. Chelsea, that's a super result for you.
that result was
Hate to see
massive.
it,
Yeah, it was massive because, like I said, there would have been a lot of the fan base would have, I don't know, there was people calling for his head before that game, but I think a lot of the more understanding fan base would have, sort of said, look, Chelsea's a big ask. We'll not that you can write a game off. You can't. You have to take every game serious. You've got to go for it, no matter who the opposition. But I think a lot of us were probably willing to accept, that Chelsea game. If we even got a point, that was going to be huge. The
yeah,
fact that we came out with 3 points, a good performance, we scored 3 goals, keeper saved the penalty. There was so many positives. We were already looking to Brighton to kind of go, right, this is where we need to kickstart. So to go into that Brighton game, I think that Chelsea result is what carried us through to the Brighton game. That carried us into that win. Because if we had gone in off the back of another hammering, maybe that Brighton result would have been completely different. And we'd
yeah,
be sitting here talking about we need to get a result against West Brom tonight. We need the first 3 points.
yeah,
But look, we're looking at it now from a different perspective, and we're kind of going, instead of going, we need a result here. Now we still need a result. Of course, we still need a result. But now we're going, we have a chance of getting 9 points from our last 3 games. Like it's
yeah.
it's completely different now, different mindset, different outlook altogether. Like,
It's a good time to be playing West Brom now.
yeah, yeah.
They,
Oh well, I let you know. I let you know after the full time whistle goes if it was a good
yeah.
time to be playing or not. But yeah, hopefully, yeah.
The other thing Arteta's always on about is it the project or the process? Was it? He's always
Trust the process. Yeah,
not the
yeah.
process. Yeah. Honest question: do you think this is just an excuse for him to prolong his managerial stay at Arsenal? Is an excuse for him to, if the results are bad, trust the process? Is it just is it giving him more time?
Yeah, 100%. I think it is a good tactic, I guess, from a manager to
Yeah.
come in. Like if a guy comes in and goes, "Yeah, I'm the man," end of the season, yeah, you're gonna see. I'm gonna like. I think the problem you had from Emery, kind of said from the start. Now he wasn't promising anything, yeah, but he said, "There's one thing I'll guarantee: you will see this team work hard." And okay, we saw that a small bit at the start. It looked like they were covering a bit more ground. They were pressing. It looked good, and you sort of you gave them that bit of an allowance, where you sort of said, okay, the football's not great, but yeah, okay, yeah, I can see they're trying. They're trying to be hard. It gets to a point where trying isn't enough. Do you know what I mean? You've got to add to that as well. There was talk of Emery. He was bringing guys for double sessions. He was. There was a preseason game, and I think he took off the whole 11 that were on. He took them off at half time, and he brought them back on a bus back to the training ground and had them, train and stuff. So we were hearing all these stories, but like I said, yeah, it just wasn't enough. I think Arteta again. It is a good idea to go. Look, there's obvious need to fix a lot of problems here. It's not going to happen overnight. A lot of the fan base will accept that. The logical part of the fan base will be willing to accept it, because I like to think the logical part of the fan base will look at the squad and they can identify the same problems that I'm sure the manager can identify. Like, we can all sit around and go, well, I can see these 3, 4, 5 players are not good enough, but that's all he has. Until they have been upgraded or replaced or whatever, you can expect the results are probably going to remain the same. You can only get so much from a certain group. So, like that, the other side of the fan base, you're always going to have the guys who, I think there's a certain part of the fan base who only look at the results, and at times I don't think they. I think they're almost not so much fans of the club, but fans of the results of the club, if that makes sense. Where they're not really looking at the bigger picture. They're not really, they haven't got the same understanding or awareness of what is actually happening. They're just looking and go, Arsenal lost again, or Arsenal drew again. Like, what's going on? Get rid of that manager. You do have to take into account the bigger picture. You do have to take into account the job that the man has inherited. And like I said, it's a tough job. Like, you could put an experienced guy, like there was talk of Mourinho beforehand. I'm sure it was just media hype with the Arsenal job, but I think you could put an experienced guy like him in there. He's only going to do so much with that group. Like, I'm sure Mourinho, had he got that job, would have faced the same problems that Arteta is currently facing with the same group of players. You know what I mean? The only thing is, Mourinho, I think, has that experience where he'd have been more cutthroat from the start and wouldn't have maybe given them the same allowances and the same time, maybe not show the same faith. Like, say, the likes of, like, we've had Willian completely underperforming since the get-go. Aside from the Fulham game, he played a blinder in the Fulham game. But after that, if he's not performing for someone like Mourinho, he's gone. He's out of the team. He's been replaced. You know what I mean? Like, and this is the difference. This is where I would have liked Arteta to have gone elsewhere and made these managerial errors early in his career. I would have liked him to do that elsewhere. So when he took over this job, he would have said, hang on, I've come across this before. I remember how this played out when I was at the other team. I'm not going to make those same mistakes again. So, like, man, it's
maybe Arteta's too soft. No.
Yeah, definitely, and like I said,
Pochettino was too soft.
Yeah, no, it can happen. Like, I guess, like that, it's easy. Like, I know the original question, I think I've completely gone off the topic here, but I know the original question was like, will he be afforded a bit more time? But yeah, his decision making is sort of what's going to determine, as well, how much time he has. Like I see a question there about I'll show you here, the Saliba situation there, for example. Like, Saliba, the only thing I will say straight off the bat, I know Saliba wasn't an Arteta signing, so I guess to an extent he's not really obliged to sort of say, yeah, look, I spent 27 million on this kid, he's so hyped up, like, I've got to get him in the team. It wasn't an Emery, or it was an Emery signing. It wasn't actually an Arteta signing. Obviously, Arteta's not been overly impressed. It's a really weird situation, this one, because I've heard a lot of contrasting stories. I've heard that, not long after coming over to us, he ended up losing both of his parents. Both of his parents passed away. Again, take into account he's only 19 in a new country, new language, new setup, new style of play. He's still very early into a professional football career. He did have a bad injury when he was over at Saint Etienne. But yeah, it still seems a bit crazy that you can't find a space for him even in the Europa League. You know what I mean? It is a really, really weird one now. And yeah, a loan move for him makes sense. But now I'm also seeing talk that apparently if the right money came in, we'd be open to, a permanent sale, which it's a head scratcher because he hasn't actually kicked the ball for us outside of under 23 football. It's, what the hell is going on with that one? Like, what is happening? I know this, like, for you being a Spurs fan, you probably haven't looked too much into the whole Saliba thing.
It's interesting, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, it's one of those where I'm sure you've seen it in the past.
Troy Parrott, same thing.
Yeah, 100%. And like us being Irish as well, we'd love to see Troy Parrott get a
Yeah,
run. You know, he's been really, really high. I think Troy Parrott, he's been in the Ireland first team, hasn't he?
yeah, he has, yeah, yeah.
And has he played a game for Spurs? I mean, Europa game or something?
He was sub twice. Yeah, but
There you go.
just a few Ireland youths. There's one of them. He's a goalkeeper for Liverpool as well. I forget his name.
Kelleher.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
he looks
get these
decent.
lads on. Like Ireland are doing shite. Get the
Oh, yeah.
youth in.
We need them. Or if Saliba wants to declare for Ireland, we'll give him a game. We'll play him. But yeah. So Ray's in the chat. So big shout out to Ray. Ray gave me my debut ahead of William Saliba on the fan circle. But yeah, look, I agree. Like, to go back to your question about, like, you know, will Arteta be given time? I completely agree with that. He at least 3 transfer windows. You know, like, I'm sure with Mourinho coming in as well, inheriting that Spurs squad from Pochettino, he would have had bits and pieces that he would. You know, look, he's got to a Champions League final, and you could see the team was on the up. But I'm sure he would have come in and identified a few issues, and you would have made an allowance for him. Like, I'm sure you wouldn't have said, "Well, look, Pochettino got us to Champions League final this season. Mourinho has to get us there next season."
Yeah, well, the thing about Pochettino, good flair football, which which Spurs are known for with Harry Redknapp and everyone like that. But we need to win something. Pochettino was great the players. Mourinho, he has the backbone. There's just something special going on with Mourinho, okay?
Yeah.
Some of his football is very negative, park the bus. But if he gets Spurs fans a trophy, that's all Daniel Levy wants. That's all the Spurs fans want. And at the end of the day, I know a lot of Spurs fans were calling for his head with the negative football, but one result and they're all behind him again. I'm like you, Anthony. I always stand by the manager, you know.
Yeah.
So we just need a trophy. Mourinho, please give us a trophy, not the Audi Cup.
Not the Audi Cup.
Can I just say, Ray here from Arsenal Fan Circle. I'm a Spurs fan. You'll probably never hear this from a Spurs fan again. I absolutely love your channel. Really, really well put together. It's really professional, and I think it's gonna go places. So, from a Spurs fan, well done for your channel. I think it's absolutely awesome. I don't like the content because it's Arsenal, but it's a good channel. So keep it going. So I'd love to see a Spurs one of them. I don't know if anyone do one, but
well, hey, look, maybe this might be something we'd be able to get going when we have the Spurs game coming up. You know, maybe I can have a chat with Ray. We might be able to get you on as a Spurs correspondent here.
Yeah,
like that. Look, I know we all have our own club interests. Your Spurs, I'm Arsenal, but it is interesting to hear a different perspective from other fans. I know, like, fans will their opinions will vary about different subjects and that, but yeah, like, obviously we're gonna have complete different opinions and see things from a different angle. So it's always interesting. It's always interesting to hear.
From a Spurs fan, and I've lots of Spurs friends. Looking into our opinion of Arsenal is, I don't know what your opinion of Spurs at the moment is. Lots of Spurs fans saying Arteta, he's an assistant manager. That's all he is. He's going to go nowhere. You need to freshen up your squad. They need to bring the youth through, and that's just what I'm hearing from different Spurs fans. I'm not sure do you agree with me or agree with. I honestly think he is an he is an assistant manager. He should have been in the Championship first before he came to Arsenal. Like the Arsenal of old, you think of Arsene Wenger, Highbury, the glory days. You know, I think Arsenal need that back. Arteta, I'm not sure is he the man. I'm sorry to say it.
Yeah, no, look, that's fair. I can completely see, you know, the point of view. If you look at the first appointment after Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery, okay, in hindsight, you know, you can look back and say, okay, probably wasn't the best appointment. But when you look at the pedigree he had behind him, he managed at Valencia, he managed at Paris Saint-Germain, he managed out in Russia, I think it was Spartak Moscow. You know, he's been around, he's seen different things, he's managed some big name players. He managed Neymar and, you know, big egos. On paper, you were looking at that and kind of going, right, well, if you're going to replace a guy who's been there, 20, 22 years, you need someone that can command the dressing room, take on these big egos, big characters, has had success. With Sevilla, didn't he win the Europa League? I think it was 3 or 4 years or something like that. So it didn't work out for him in the end, but that was sort of, I thought personally, I thought that was kind of maybe the right route to go down, because Arteta had been talked about from the beginning, and it was Emery that I think came in kind of last minute and kind of leapfrogged them into the hot seat, which you couldn't really argue with at the time. Like I said, he had the track record. I am surprised. Like, I would have liked to see, if he had been willing to do it, Arteta come in maybe as the number 2 at the time, with a view to taking over eventually.
That's what could have been done, probably.
Yeah, like, it does seem mad. Like, okay, outside of a team, I can understand if a team sacks a manager and they're in trouble, as in they're probably going to get relegated. I can understand throwing a guy in, give him the last couple of months or weeks or whatever it is of the season, let him get his bit of experience in the Premier League just before they inevitably go down. So, there's no expectation, but he's learning on the job. And then he's a little bit better set up potentially then for when the championship season kicks off. I think it's a big, big thing for a first-time manager to take on a Premier League club as your first job, especially one that, like, we view ourselves as, we like to view ourselves as still being a top 4. Obviously, that's not the case nowadays, but that's the aspirations we have. And you're looking.
I don't see Arteta's passion. Arteta, I don't see his passion on the sideline. His hands in his pockets. He's lethargic the whole time. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see his passion, his enthusiasm. You see Mourinho, he goes fucking crazy at players. Yeah. The Leeds man today was gone crazy. Arteta just stands there with the hands in his pocket. That's what I see. I don't know. Maybe I don't watch too many Arsenal games, but that's what I see when I watch them.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? It was something that I definitely noticed at the beginning, the early days. I could see him on the sideline, and especially in around Project Restart, when football was locked down for a while, and then it came back, and there was no fans in the ground, and you could hear what was being said from the sidelines a lot more clearly. And Arteta kind of became known for it. He almost used to pick 1 or 2 players a game, and he'd hound them. I remember there was one game we played, and all game he had Reece Nelson on his side, on the right hand side, and all game Reece, and just constant Adam all game. But he played a great game. He was very, very good in that game. He was really, really, like, I noticed he seemed to have that passion, and he was on the touchline, and it is something early days I said, yeah, that's brilliant, that's what you want. I don't know whether it's just lately he's gone through a lot, and maybe it's starting to take his toll. Maybe if he starts seeing the results from his players, like, maybe, it's easy to sit there and say, he's not getting the best out of his players. He could be doing everything in his power on the training grounds to motivate these guys. Like, it might look as though it's like he's given up with certain players and whatever, but I guess you got to take into account you could be given everything every single day on the training ground, and then on match day the players just don't show up. That's got to take its toll, like, to a point where you kind of go, like, come on, like, give me something here. And you do all the shouting and all the instructing, and you just get nothing back. I can imagine you'd get to a point where you go, like, come on, what do you want from me here? And maybe it's a little bit of touch of the Guardiola as well. Maybe he's got that little.
He's very lucky to have his job, though. You're 14th now, is it? After 2 wins.
Yeah, until tonight, obviously.
When Pochettino, he was in 14th place and they took him out, put Mourinho in. With great things too, because what happened with Spurs is everyone's saying Pochettino was brilliant. He could not win away. And under Mourinho, we're an absolute fucking train away. We're winning everything. So
that's it. Mourinho's like turned him into a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, he's just Mourinho. He's hard-skinned, and if you're not playing from the likes of Bale, now Bale super signing, they got him to sell shirts. It was a pure gimmick thing. Like Mourinho, he's not playing well under Mourinho. He's not running back. He's not going all over the pitch. And supposedly his head is not right. So Mourinho, he's not going to just play him because he's a superstar. If you're not playing well, he's going to drop you. Same as Dele Alli. You know, he's not good. Just because you're a star, he's not going to play you. He's hard on you, and he's going to get the results. And he's putting the backbone into Spurs, and that's what we always needed. We never had a backbone. Well, under Harry Redknapp, he was good. Pochettino, way too soft. He played Harry Kane in the final Champions League. He had the least touches on the pitch. He wasn't even fit, and that's why we lost. If Lucas Moura scored a hat-trick to get us into the final, he was dropped. Absolute fucking disgrace.
I think that one was that was a tough one for Pochettino. I think the Champions League final, because again,
it wasn't a tough one. It wasn't a tough one. Don't play Harry Kane. It's an easy one.
It looked an easy call, I think, because like that obviously Kane wasn't fully fit, and Lucas Moura wasn't good for him. I think it was going to be one of those. It was going to be a lose-lose for him anyway. If he didn't win it, I think it was going to be, why didn't you play Harry Kane? He's your best player. Now, take into account, we know he wasn't fully fit, but you know what? Some of the fan base can be like, I think if he lost it and he'd gone with Lucas, they would have said, why is he playing Lucas Moura when he has his best player on the bench? And
all you had to do was play Harry Kane in the first half. If it didn't work out, sub him and put Moura on. But he didn't. He kept him on. It's just because he was afraid Harry Kane threw toys out the pram because he was a big star.
Well, do you know what? This is the difference between a big manager. Big, like Mourinho is a big manager. Big personality, like Alex Ferguson. He's one of those managers where he is the man. No one is above him, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be, and that's what I would like to see from Arteta. Like I said, Arteta talks a good game at times. He came in with his list of rules that he called his non-negotiables, but we've seen that apply to certain players while it's been overlooked with certain players. Like recently, for example, we've seen with the Granit Xhaka, the sending off against Burnley. He grabs a guy by the throat, he gets sent off. Okay, he misses the couple of games because of suspension. As soon as the suspension's up, he's straight back in the team.
Yeah.
You look at Matteo Guendouzi last season against Brighton. At the end of the game, he grabs Neil Maupay by the throat. We never see him in an Arsenal shirt again. Like, to date, he didn't play, and he's now off playing in the Bundesliga on loan to Hertha Berlin. So this is where you need the manager to make the big calls. Like he was able to do it with a 19, 20-year-old guy. He was able to make the big call, the big decision, but then he couldn't do it. One of his senior players, Xhaka, who is one of your senior players, is supposed to be, one of your leaders. If anything, he should be the guy you make the example of, and the younger players, the guy you put your arm around and you say, look, that's not how we do things here. You've got one or two more, one more chance, basically.
Yeah.
Don't mess up again. Otherwise, that's the end of it. But the experienced players, they should know better. It shouldn't even come to that. You shouldn't even have to be telling these guys. And I think that's just where, like I said, that's where I think if you'd done a couple of seasons elsewhere, you would have made those mistakes before you do it in the Premier League. And unfortunately, when you're in the Premier League, you're doing it on the world's biggest stage, for all eyes to see. You're gonna be judged there and then. And
Arsene Wenger, he had the backbone. He could.
Well, again, with Wenger, certain players, it's like when we spoke about Ozil. Like Arsene Wenger, he used to let Ozil away with murder. You know what I mean? Like, and that's.
But he's playing well.
Well, look, his opinion was to get the best out of Ozil. He was that type of player you had to give him the special treatment. But sure, look at then you have Mourinho. Mourinho wasn't given him special treatment, and he got results.
Yeah.
Like I think the manager needs to decide, what is my way of doing things, and just stick with that way, and don't bend for anybody. It's your way. Like again, like Alex Ferguson, for example. Like how many superstars did Alex Ferguson fall out with, and how many superstars that he fell out with ended up leaving the club? Like you didn't see the manager come under fire. Like Fergie was there till the end, and you seen David Beckham, Ruud van Nistelrooy, guys like that. If that happened nowadays with some of the managers we have, like if you had a player, say like David Beckham at a club like Arsenal under Arteta, and they had a falling out, like nowadays it's the manager that's going to be gone before that player.
Oh yeah.
Like we saw that Chelsea. With Hazard. Hazard, Willian, David Luiz, all these guys, they wanted Mourinho out that time, and they stopped playing football. And what happens? Mourinho loses his job. As soon as he's gone, suddenly they rediscover how to kick a ball again.
Yeah.
I think they were floating around 15th. Like that shouldn't happen. I think that's a big part of the problem. I think a lot of people look at like it's the manager that's the problem. It's the manager that needs replacing. But you've got to look back at the squad of players and kind of go, right, well, can we see a bit of a pattern here? Like who are the repeat offenders? Who are the players keep throwing the toys out of pram? Who are the players keep, I guess you could say consistently underperforming? Now, in Arsenal's case, we've seen the same handful. You have your Mustafis and your Granit Xhakas and guys like that. Okay, you'll get moments from them, but for the most part, you're giving out like okay, Arteta should be gone. You got rid of Emery, Wenger. Eventually, was got rid of. Same players are surviving, and it has to get to a point where you go, is it something to do with the players that are there? Maybe they're just not good enough, and maybe there's no manager that's going to get the results that we ultimately want to see. So yeah, this is where I feel definitely why I think Spurs are now on the rise and Arsenal are struggling. Like I think a lot comes down to the manager, and I think Spurs they were clever. They brought in, like, people were giving out. I remember people going, "Oh, he's anti-football. He's this. He's that. Whatever." Like, whether you like the guy or not, he's doing the job.
Yeah, like every club he's been with, he's won a trophy.
Yeah,
he gets results.
100%.
What I can understand about Arsenal is like the few players came in there which any team would want, but they're just not playing for you. Willian, like he fucked Spurs over before we were supposed to have medical Spurs. He went to Chelsea. So personally, on a personal note, I don't like him, but he's an absolute super player. But he's not doing it at Arsenal. I don't know. I can't understand why. And Lacazette, that fella was banging in goals for fun over in France, wasn't it? And now he's just he's not firing. I can't understand.
Jesus, Willian's he's a head scratcher, because
he's unbelievable.
When I'd heard we were getting Willian, like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that's a sign in there. That's a decent sign. Now, look, I was overlooking like the long term. I was overlooking like where he's is he 32? But I was going, okay. You look at his. I tried to look at, instead of going his age and whatever profile. I tried to look at well, I tried to look at what he did previous, and when you look at what he did for Chelsea last season, he was definitely up there. He was one of their most consistent performers, especially late in the season. So, like, I was looking at it and I was saying, okay, 3 years is too much. It is too much, because even if he turns out to be good for us, you're probably going to get at most a season and a half, and he's probably, law of averages, he's probably going to start to, falter a little bit. 3 years was a bit much. I didn't see a 35-year-old Willian running up and down the wing for us. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I can't understand what's gone on. Like how, like these players, and this applies to Aubameyang as well this season. These players don't just become bad players overnight. Like, despite being a 32-year-old or a 31-year-old, like, you don't decline physically that fast. Like, you look at Willian now and you swear the guy was 45. Do you know what I mean? It's like he hasn't got a sprint left in him. I'd say the last time Willian sprinted was running into Edu's office to sign that big contract. I'd say that's the last time that guy has run.
Yeah.
What has gone on? I think it's just he seems to have no motivation, and just doesn't seem to want to be there. So, yeah, I think I scared Pat off there. All the Willian chat. So let me see what's happening. Brighton 1, Wolves 0. What is the score? Still 1-0. That's an interesting scoreline. Yeah, and probably better for us with Brighton winning. I know they're just below us. I think they're 13 points. So that'll jump them up to 16. And with ourselves being on 20. Yeah, look, it's back. Yeah, just looking at the just Robin was giving us an update there. Brighton 1-0 up against Wolves. I was just saying, like, for being an Arsenal fan, yeah, like, I'm trying to look at the sides above us. Yeah, go for it. I'm trying to take into account the sides more above us in the table, rather than the ones that are now below us. I'm fairly sure Sheffield United, probably West Brom, are fairly nailed on to go down. I'm talking like as if we're still in a relegation battle here, or as if we ever were in a relegation battle. I don't think we ever realistically were. I think we're as much in a relegation battle as Spurs are title contenders. Would you agree, Pat?
You were in a relegation battle. You've had 2 wins. Just calm down now.
Well, here you go. There's one for you there, Pat.
Okay.
I think we have a Spurs fan in the house.
Oh, good. Brilliant.
So there you go now. You've attracted a couple of Spurs fans.
That's the job.
That's it. That's what you want. Because, look, this should be 50-50. I know this is going up on my Republic of Arsenal YouTube channel, but I'm more than happy for Spurs fans to get involved in the discussion. It makes for better discussion if we can get, both sides instead of just Arsenal. 1-1 now. There you go.
What was it? What Brighton Wolves 1-1, yeah?
1-1. Hey, who got sent off for Spurs today? I forgot to check that.
Matt Doherty.
It was Doherty, was it? Or you probably told me that earlier.
Yeah, he's playing absolute dirt.
Hey, would you take a swap if it was offered? Would you swap him for Bellerin?
I actually would. He's that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
But not David Luiz. Anything but David Luiz.
David Luiz. And don't worry, he's hopefully Benfica bound soon. But man, like Doherty, Doherty surprised me. I guess I had a bit of a soft spot for Doherty. 1, being Irish, 2, being an Arsenal fan, despite what he's trying to claim nowadays. But yeah, I thought when Spurs got Doherty, I thought, no, he's gonna be a serious addition.
Spurs have a huge problem at right back. It's either Doherty or Serge Aurier. Aurier is a liability. I mean, he's an absolute animal. He's a hulking animal, but he's a liability if you give away a penalty last minute of the game and you're done,
Problem is, you've 2 right backs, both Arsenal fans. They don't want to play for you.
Harry Kane up front.
And Harry Kane, ex-Arsenal legend. Here there's one there. The Irish Carl Jenkinson. Hey, Jenko's a legend.
Spurs strike force. Like Harry Kane and Son. Like even Harry Kane, he's playing back a bit at the moment. I know he always starts up front on the team sheet, but he always drops back because he can just hold up the ball give in to Son, and then Banks in the back of the net. Like, and we have Bergwijn. He's a small bit overweight, but he's playing great stuff. Sissoko, he's good at holding the ball, but he's so sloppy. But we have Tanguy and Dembele. I mean, that fella is the new Dembele that we used to have for Spurs, who's playing in China now. The ball just sticks to his feet. He's unbelievable. And I'm surprised Reguilon wasn't playing today. The left back, Ben Davies was ahead of him. I don't know how.
Yeah, Reguilon, he's a good player.
Unbelievable.
Would be very surprised if Real don't exercise that right to take him back. Because I think
they will.
I think they'll take him back, but not necessarily play him. I think they'll say, you know, he's playing well. We get a couple of extra quid out of him here, like Morata. I think that'll be the plan. There's one there. One player I take from Spurs, Højbjerg.
Oh, unbelievable!
You like Højbjerg?
He is a season changer. Like, he has changed our midfield. We needed that backbone, and that's why he plays. But his fitness levels are through the roof. He plays 90 minutes every single game, week in, week out. He's never dropped. He's an absolute animal, and his passion. If he loses a tackle, you can see him. He's gone crazy at himself.
Yeah,
he is an He's the best signing. You know, from Southampton. Like, I think we paid Fekov, I think it's like 15 million, something like that.
Yeah, he is unbelievable. Do you know what? Again, I'll be honest. When I saw Spurs were in for him at the beginning of the season, there's actually, where I work, a customer of mine is a Spurs fan as well, and he was going on and on about Højbjerg, and I was saying, you know, kind of jokingly saying, "Oh, well, look, if are these your signings for the season, you can forget about getting back to the Champions League final again." You know, but look, he's proved me wrong. He looks solid, and again, I guess taking into consideration he was the Southampton captain. I think he started out Bayern Munich. Did he, Højbjerg?
Bayern Munich, yeah.
Yeah. So look, he can play.
He's absolute serious signing, unbelievable. You know,
he fits. He's a very Mourinho style player.
Mourinho style, yeah. Even when usually him and Sissoko play. Sissoko's right today. They had a Harry Winks in. It's like an awful one player. He is too small. He has no power. He's sloppy.
Harry Winks.
And the only reason he's playing because he's English. I mean, I cannot. He's so over. He's fucking crap. I hate him.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say he's more a five-a-side player. He's the type of guy you'd want to have on your AstroTurf team.
Yeah.
Kind of a player, you know. Yeah. Like he's good on the ball.
Yeah.
It's just let me see, what have we got here? There you go. What do you think of that, about a Declan Rice partnership? If you signed Declan Rice, who would you replace?
I wouldn't sign Declan Rice.
No, wouldn't take him.
No.
He looks like he's probably Chelsea bound at some stage.
Yeah, he just wouldn't fit in. No, I don't think so.
I never asked you, what did you make of the Spurs penalty today?
It was just in the penalty box.
Right.
Controversial enough. I think he fell down fairly easy.
Yeah.
But Harry Kane, like, when that man steps up to a penalty, you know what's going in. It's unbelievable. You know,
I feel like this is the part of the live stream I should point out. You're actually clinically blind, so that's why you saw that as being inside the box.
No,
I know. No,
it went to VAR. VAR. So maybe I'm blind and 7 other people. It went to VAR, and it was. And they said,
I don't dispute that those video assistants are blind as well. Like, is VAR sponsored by Specsavers, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but going back to the person who said Declan Rice.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has different opinions. This person probably thinks Declan Rice could get in a team, and maybe he would fit. You know, so I'm not saying he wouldn't, but that's just my opinion. You know.
Hey, do you know what I think it is though? For me and you, I think we still hurt over the Declan Rice being Irish and then deciding he's not Irish.
Yeah.
I think that's still a bit. It's a bit fresh in the memory as well. It's just the way you wouldn't take Declan Rice.
You like Grealish? Remember Grealish that time with the
Yeah,
controversy?
yeah. Hey,
You know?
you take Grealish though.
Oh, all day long. Hey, and Grealish was supposed to come to Spurs, but they couldn't reach agreement on the money. But I would love to see him
Yeah.
in the Spurs squad.
I remember that Villa down the championship they were talking about Jack
Yeah,
Grealish.
yeah, yeah,
He's come on. I remember looking at him early days, even when he was kind of in the Irish setup, and I was saying, he's okay, he's all right.
he's
Nowadays,
unbelievable.
he's
Yeah.
just killing
Yeah,
it now. He just
I think Spurs offered. I think Spurs offered 18 million that time, or something. It was turned down. Which is crazy.
yeah, that's it. He's going to take big money. I can't see, especially the better and better you see Villa doing. Like they're having a serious season. So
Unbelievable.
the higher up they finish, the more you're going to add on to his price tag. And they were already last season. They just barely avoided relegation, and you
Yeah.
were looking at upwards of 80 million. Like, do you imagine if they get a top 6 finish this season? Do you imagine what you'd be looking to spend on him now?
Yeah, and they never
Unbelievable.
spent big. Aston Villa, still an aging team, never spent big, but they're up there, which is crazy,
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, all right, here's one. Is Pat a manager by any chance? You are. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
No, definitely not.
But here, I know I have to say, right, we're only into 2021. I nearly said 2020 there, I'm forgetting already what year it is. So we're only just into 2021. I've seen 2 penalty shouts, one being the Spurs game and one being last night in the United game. And I have to say I don't feel either were penalties. The Spurs one I could slightly more look at and go, yeah, okay, I can understand it. I would have definitely said it was definitely at least a free kick. It's just more the positioning of where his foot was when he went down. I would have said it was basically on the line. I wouldn't have gave
Yeah,
a penalty.
go on.
But
Yeah.
did you see that United one last night?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was shocking. That was a bad call now.
That's Man United though. They always get the calls,
I seen a statistic last night in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his 2 years as United boss, they've had 42 penalties, 27 of them being in the Premier League. And then
Unbelievable.
the same person put up a stat, he's obviously an Arsenal fan, that Arsenal, it's taken them 6 seasons to accumulate 42 penalties. That just puts into perspective how many penalties United are being awarded. And if you remember, they played Villa and got a pretty bogey penalty as well. I don't know if you remember that one. Bruno Fernandes, he turned on the ball
Remember
and he
that?
ended up kicking back into the Villa defender's shin.
Yeah.
And he won a penalty. And last night, again, I was just like, when I seen it in real time, I was watching it here in real time. And I said straight away, I was like, penalty, definite penalty. Then, obviously, watching the replays, I was going, oh, hang on, I don't know about that. And now the more and more angles I'm seeing, I'm going, sure, he kicked himself. He completely took himself down. And the Chelsea-Arsenal game, going back, 2 weeks now, the Chelsea-Arsenal game, when Kieran Tierney went down, again, in real time, I said, yeah, it looks like a penalty. Seen the replays, and I said, it's a bit harsh. I just said I could see, again, look, you could argue any contact is a foul, especially when you look at it VAR, you look at 5-6 different angles, you're looking at a slow down replay, any kind of contact you could make a case for. You could say, well, there's contact, whatever. But I looked at the Kieran Tierney one and I said to myself, from the point of view of if that had been awarded against us, I would have been pretty pissed off. I would have felt a bit like it's pretty harsh. So, like, I'll always come out, and if I feel like I try to look at it from that point of view where I go, well, if it was given against us, would I be happy? In that sense, I wasn't. But that one last night, my God, if that was against us, I would have put my foot through the telly.
Yeah.
That was a bad one, like, and
Yeah.
They just keep getting these calls. Like,
Keep getting them, yeah.
like what's it gonna take? It's and like I don't know. Like, what's your feeling on VAR? Like, would you be a fan or?
No, it's destroying the game. Like especially when the players celebrate, then they take it back, and it's ruining the buzz of the game.
That's the worst. Do you know what? As a player, I would feel like a right gimp if I went and scored a last minute goal, took my shirt off, ran the pitch, swinging it around, fucking whatever. And then they turn around and go, "Oh, actually, sorry, your fingernail was offside there. That's disallowed." And like, it kills as much as it kills it for us as spectators. We're watching. You're afraid to jump up and go, "Yo, it's a goal," unless it's an absolute screamer from 25 yards, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Anything in around the box, if someone falls over or if it's in any way tight, you're going, "Oh, we better hang on about 4 or 5 minutes while they make their mind up." Like, as much as it kills us for us, for the players, it must be torture.
It's a dangerous game they're playing because it's like Formula One that time. They brought in all these rules, all these regulations, and people stopped watching it. It got boring, and the football now with the VAR in, it's getting slightly boring. Okay, we all still love it, but it was going that way with years. People taking their shirt off, getting yellow cards. Like, come on, like it's that they're celebrating.
Yeah,
and also free kicks now. Like all you have to do is kind of touch someone now and they fall over. Like they should be putting in, if someone purposely dives, gives them a red card. Like, get the game. Like, go back to the 80s and 90s. The game was so hardy. Like, so Neil Ruddock and all that. Flying in tackles. We need that back again.
Oh yeah, those days are long gone. And like Ray said there. See, Ray says, "I saw footage of Pogba gesturing to Shaw. He should have dived only a few minutes before he did himself." I did actually see that.
Ruining the game.
And that kind of brings back to my feeling of VAR is I feel like, and I put this up on Twitter earlier, that I actually feel like VAR almost promotes for players to go down in the box, because you're sort of saying, okay, it's one thing if you feel like you're going to beat the man and get a shot off on goal, that's one thing. Anything that's in any way 50-50, if you come together with a player, like, you're going to go down because you know that it's going to go to VAR. And like I said, any kind of contact whatsoever can be looked at, in a sense that's like, okay, well, I can see your argument, or I can make a case. Any minimal contact whatsoever, you could make an argument to say, well, in fairness, there was contact. That's not to say all contact would warrant a free kick or penalty or whatever, but with all the different replays and the angles and when you slow it down, you can almost convince yourself that it is a free kick or a penalty. And I think that players are aware of this, and it's almost become a part of the tactics now. And you can see, like Ray said there, with Pogba gesturing to Shaw, go down. The players are fully aware of this, and the players are saying to themselves, look, any contact whatsoever, just fall down. Look, it's a 50-50. You know what I mean? And there's generally no fear of being booked for a dive. Like, if you can argue where there's contact, you're not going to get booked for it. So, what have you got to lose? Especially, like I said, if it's one of those where you're not clean through on goal, there's a chance you might lose the ball. Literally, what have you got to lose by going down? You're going to lose the ball anyway. You might as well play for the penalty. And it's not a tactic I like. I don't like to see that. I don't like to see that in my players. Like, I would be very hard on players doing that. Like, I went off on one of my podcasts about Danny Ceballos. I think it was against Southampton, the 1-1 draw. He got himself into the box. He actually did very well. He turned on the ball. He could have played the ball across to a man in the box. Instead, he played for the contact and went down. He wasn't awarded anything. And this probably sounds crazy to say, because we needed a win. We needed the 3 points. But I would rather we hadn't got the decision. And I know some people will go, well, look, at the end of the day, you can give out and you can moan and you can slag United fans, but they're going to turn around and go, well, people are going to talk shit anyway. But the reality is, we're joint first in the table. We're getting all our penalties. We're winning games. We're happy. I can't. I just can't do that. I would rather. I'd rather we drew the game 1-1 than cheat to win it. It's just not for me. I cannot stand it. You probably don't agree because you've Harry Kane up front. So
yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry. I have to go there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Did you see the COVID figures up on your phone there?
No.
3,400
in Ireland today.
Crazy.
Tell you, we could be chatting like this an awful lot now over the next couple of months. We're supposed to be locked down to the 31st.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Premier League wasn't cancelled for 2 weeks. There was talk about it,
Well, there is a game. There's a game postponed tomorrow. Is it? I'll tell you now what it is. I was only looking at it earlier. Burnley against Fulham. Look,
yeah.
I guess if you had to pick a game out of the lineup, probably would have been that game. If you had to pick one.
Fulham have a few COVID cases, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Burnley, sure, in the nicest way possible. The team plays like they've COVID anyway. Like I know they beat us, but my God, they're poor. Like, let's be fair, they are poor.
Yeah.
How we didn't. It's easy to point the finger at Granit Xhaka for what he did. Like, but to be fair, even up to that point, we should have done something with that game. Like, we should have had ourselves probably at least in the lead before he went and had his moment of madness. So look, Xhaka aside, it's only ourselves to blame. And funny enough, I was in work today, and I got a phone call from one of the guys up in the head office who's a Burnley fan, and first thing he said to me, Jesus, Arsenal have come on a bit since they were beaten by the Clarets, haven't they? And I was like, bollocks.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So, score updates now.
What, 2-1 Wolves, is it?
2-1.
It's 2-1 to Brighton, is it?
It's 2-1 to Wolves.
Oh, to Wolves, okay.
Yeah. What was it?
Yeah. My dinner's on the table. My dinner's ready now, Anthony.
Yeah, you're going to head now, yeah?
Thanks so much for having me on. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Look, like I said, we only did this just messing about, just said, we just do something, just have a bit of a chat, like completely informal, just a bit of banter or whatever.
Fun. I really enjoyed it. Great fun. Brilliant.
We'll definitely do this again. Like, it's cool. And do you know what? Wasn't even expecting one person to watch this. I think at one stage we go up to about 6 or 7. So
brilliant.
I'm happy with that. Like I said, it was only just a bit of a mess chat. But yeah, look, thanks very much for coming on.
And best of luck to your YouTube channel. I hope it goes great. But it was actually great to be on here today. This is my first live on YouTube, and I loved it, and it was fucking brilliant. So I'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, look, thanks very much for coming on, and you enjoy that dinner.
I'll try. Thanks a lot.
See you later, man. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Right, so there's Pac on. Yeah, it's probably a bit of a mad one for anyone watching, because obviously this is, like, I run an Arsenal podcast. This is an Arsenal-based YouTube channel, but one of my best mates is actually a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and I just thought, we were sitting around, weren't doing an awful lot. I haven't seen him since before Christmas, and I thought it might be kind of cool idea. We'd have a bit of a chat, yourself, get a bit of banter going, a bit of debate, the two sides. It's kind of cool. You have like a good friend who supports a rival team. There was supposed to be 3 of us on today. My brother was actually supposed to be on as well, and he's a Man United fan. Unfortunately, technology was working against us. the camera, there was an issue, and then there was an issue with the lag, and so unfortunately it ended up just the pair of us. But no, I think it made for a good bit of chat, bit of banter, and that's what it's all about. That's all it was supposed to be. Just a bit of fun, kill a bit of time. Especially it's going on 6:15. So it's an 8 p.m. kickoff for the Arsenal game. So yeah, I'm sitting here and getting a bit psyched up, having a couple of drinks, starting to get the buzz before the Arsenal game. So yeah, it definitely adds to the bit of excitement. And yeah, 100%. He is cool. He really is. Like I said, he's a sound guy. I try look beyond the fact that he's a Spurs fan at times, you know. No, he is cool. I suppose. Look, if you had to have, he's definitely one of my best mates. If you had to have one of your best mates support your biggest rival, you'd want it to be a guy like Pat. Like he's a cool guy. It was actually, Pat was a big part of how I kind of got into all this kind of, podcasting, YouTube and sort of stuff. I know it's only early days. I'm only doing this since November, but it was something the pair of us kind of discussed between us. We were going to start up our own podcast, and initially it was going to be kind of it themed around the fact that I'm an Arsenal fan, he's a Spurs fan. I just thought, yeah, it'd be kind of cool. It'd be something very, very different. Because like, how often have you got an Arsenal and Spurs fan being really good mates, hosting a podcast together? And yeah, didn't quite materialize. He's doing his thing. And actually, if you're checking out Instagram and that, he runs a really cool Instagram page called The Irish Rover Life. So it's not Tottenham based, so it's open to everybody. He does like an Irish blog. It's really, really cool. And like I said, you seen Pat on here today. He speaks well. He knows his stuff down to earth. So definitely check him out at The Irish Rover Life. And who will we see today? Ooh, it's a hard one. I think there's going to be rotation. I definitely think there'll be rotation. I'd be surprised if we don't see Maitland-Niles, Pepe. I think Aubameyang will play. I think maybe Nketiah up front. I think he'll go Leno, maybe Maitland-Niles right back, Tierney left back. I think he'll stick with. Would he stick with Pablo Mari? I'm not sure. It depends. Like you'd want to keep him playing, obviously, for the match practice, but how fit is he going to be to play another game? David Luiz is back. Yeah, David Luiz is back. Probably David Luiz, Rob Holding. So maybe across the back. I'd like to see Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Whether he will or not, I don't think so. I'm going to just say Maitland-Niles, David Luiz, Rob Holding, Kieran Tierney. I think we'll see Ceballos. Probably Xhaka and Ceballos, because he doesn't really drop Xhaka if he's available. Pepe one side. It's a toss-up. Martinelli and Saka on the left. Saka picked up a knock. He's probably not available. But at the same time, I thought Martinelli probably could do with a bit of a rest. Maybe the fact that Saka picked up a knock, maybe he might go with Martinelli. Will he go Smith Rowe? No, what am I saying? Martinelli. He'll go Aubameyang out on the left. Yeah, surely Aubameyang out on the left. Ketty up front. Lost track of how many players I've even named there. So hard to know with Arteta. There's 100 things we want him to do. He rarely does what we want him to do or what we think as fans is logical. Yeah, I would like to see Smith Rowe in there. Again, it's just one of those with the young players where you're kind of saying to yourself, they need the minutes, they need the run out. They're young, they should have the legs, but yeah, there's been a lot of football in the last couple of days. It is a big ask to have the exact same players play again. He'll have to rotate. He'll definitely have to rotate. But at the same time, you can't make too many changes. You can't completely unbalance the team altogether. Who do we think? Martinelli needs a rest, just back from injury. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, Saka picked up a knock. He definitely needs a rest. Yeah, I would have definitely said Martinelli needs a rest. And look, having Aubameyang back, I guess it gives another excuse to throw Aubameyang out wide as well, because you need to rest the two young lads. So you might as well, yeah, look, Aubameyang, he needs to start finding his feet a little bit. Depends, I guess, the extent of his injury. Like I know he was out for 2 games there, came back against Brighton, didn't look sharp at all. So is it confidence? Is it that he's still feeling a bit of that? Was it a thigh strain or a calf strain he had? So, look, if he's 100% to go, yeah, definitely he needs to run out, and be nice to see if he can get himself on the score sheet tonight. He definitely needs the confidence boost. Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Smith Rowe. I'd be happy with that. Yeah, I could see it definitely. Definitely has to get Pepe back in. Has to play Pepe tonight, surely. I mean, if you're not going to trust him against West Brom, especially when you need to rest players. Reece Nelson, I think, is still out injured. Arteta clarified that in the press conference there the other day, why Reece Nelson's been out. So yeah, it only makes sense to throw Pepe in. Who would you throw in yourself? Let me see. Yeah. Smith Rowe. Let's say, will Smith Rowe still be available? Like, will he play him again? Who else has he got? I suppose. Is Willian back? Willian surely can play. If David Luiz is available, I presume Willian's available. Yeah, I'd love to see Maitland-Niles in midfield. Yeah, do you know what? I'd love to see you throw Cedric Suarez right back if you wanted to rest Bellerin and play Ainsley Maitland-Niles in midfield. I'd like to know how fit Partey is as well. Like, Partey trained. I seen pictures of Partey training the other day, and of course, I'm not saying start him, but I wonder, could you sneak him onto the bench? Maybe give him about 15 minutes at the end, if he's fit enough, just to give him a bit of a run out. Maybe with a view on playing him in the FA Cup against Newcastle. Just give him a couple of minutes. Hopefully we're well in the lead at that stage, and we just get him out for a little cameo. Yeah, no other creative midfielder. Please God, not Willian. Yeah, you said what we're all thinking. Oh, yeah. What do you do with Willian? What do you do with that guy? Yeah. Maybe a change of position is what he needs. Like, I know myself and Pat were talking a bit about like an older player. I personally don't think you just kind of lose it overnight. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he's 32. I'm sure he's not got the same legs as when he was 22, of course. But you know what? Maybe he is getting older. Maybe it's not smart that it's just lack of effort. But I haven't seen him even attempt to make a run or a sprint since he signed for us. Like I said, I'd say the last time that guy ran was running into Edu's office to sign that contract. That's probably the last time he made any effort. Maybe a more central role. I remember Arteta talking about him, saying he was a player that could fit into a central midfield role. And yeah, I know it's not a central midfield role, but I don't know. Maybe could you play him in behind the striker? Possibly. I mean, it'd probably be no worse than the result you get playing him out wide on the wing, especially if you're not going to get any runs out of him, no sprints or anything like that. Yeah, it's just a case of with Willian. Is he even motivated to play? Like, you know, is it a case of the legs are gone, or is it a case of the legs, the motivation, everything? Everything's just gone. He doesn't seem like a guy that wants to still be there. You know, he doesn't even seem like a guy that's, you know, got a nice big contract. He's got a bit of job security for the next 3 seasons. He's just happy to be in and around the club, do his time, and go lie on the beach and the Copacabana for the rest of his days. But it doesn't even seem like he's happy to be there. He doesn't seem like he wants to be at the club. Hopefully he pushes for a move in January. I actually seen on Instagram earlier, somebody posted a picture up. It was a screenshot of transfer window now open, and down the corner, liked by Willian Borges or whatever his name is. So hopefully he's on to his agent, our good friend Kia Jarabchin, and maybe Raul Sanyehi might be making his way into another club somewhere, and he might say, "Yo, come on, join us over here." Yeah, but look, I think I'll wrap it up now and get ready for the big match. And I don't know, maybe after the match, I might come on and do like an instant reaction. Like I said, I'm only playing around with this thing. This is the first time I've tried any kind of live. I didn't even know how to use this. It was until I got talking to all the lads at Fan Circle. I hadn't a clue. I'm not very tech savvy, but no, this is pretty cool. And like that, definitely having Pat here was really, really cool. So yeah, I'd say now that we got the first one out of the way, we'll start playing around with this, do a bit more of a regular type of thing, start playing around with YouTube. And but yeah, look, anyone that's been checking out the podcast, like really, really appreciate it. And thanks very much, and gives you the motivation to keep it going. So yeah, the podcast will continue, and like that, we'll start messing about with YouTube a little bit more. So look, gonna get set now, get a bit of food, get some drinks ready, watch this game, and maybe might be on later. So look, go enjoy the game, and I'll talk to you all soon. And thanks very much for joining in today. So see you all later.